in a city where industrial lights glimmered on the skyline. A place bridged the gap between the living and the realm of dreams. The Sky Lantern Pub was in the city's forgotten district, at the edge of its night sky. Its ceiling was a vast window to the heavens. Patrons often whispered that it was more than a bar. It was a portal to something beyond. The night sky was full of stars that seemed close. A moon glowed with a cosmic hue, casting a silver-blue light into the pub. The soft glow from old-fashioned lanterns danced across the weathered wood floors. It illuminated the quiet corners and created deep, shifting shadows. Behind the bar, ancient shelves housed forgotten liquor bottles. Each person had a story waiting for them to tell. The pub was never bustling, but it was never deserted either. The few who frequented it had heavy hearts. They carried regrets, unanswered questions, and indescribable loss. They would sit in silence, as if anticipating something, or someone. The bartender, an older man with silver hair and moon-like eyes, took his time as he moved. He did not speak much, yet always knew exactly which drink to offer. The weathered condition of his hands resembled the bar. Some said he had been there long before the city rose around the pub. One cold evening, a woman named Elara walked for hours through the city streets, weighed down by old grief. A decade ago, her father vanished under strange circumstances. This left her with unanswered questions. She always felt that she had not yet discovered the truth, something unfinished. Tonight, after a haunting dream, she stood before the Sky Lantern Pub. She had never heard of it. Inside, Elara felt a shift. The air was heavier, tinged with mystery. She took a seat by the window, gazing out at the city below and the endless sky above. The bartender placed a drink before her without making a sound. It was a pale, golden liquid that shimmered in the moonlight. "What is this place?" she asked, her voice a faint whisper. The bartender stared at her for a long moment. Then he said, "This is a place for the lost. It's for those who seek what lies beyond the veil." She frowned. "Beyond the veil? I do not understand." The bartender only nodded toward the sky above. "Sometimes the answers you seek are not found in this world. They linger between moments in places like this." Elara took a sip of the drink, and as the warmth spread through her, a strange sensation overtook her. The walls of the pub seemed to waver as if they were not solid but made of smoke and moonlight. The voices of the other patrons faded. She was no longer in the pub, but on a foggy cobblestone street. Ahead of her was a house she recognized, her childhood home. But this was not a memory. This was something else, something more. She stepped forward, her heart racing as she approached the door. As she reached for the handle, the door creaked open on its own. Inside, the house was as she had remembered, but there was a figure standing in the center of the room, her father. He was younger than the last time she had seen him, his face full of life and vitality. He smiled when he saw her, though his eyes held the same sadness she had carried for years. "Dad," she whispered, tears filling her eyes. He nodded, stepping forward but not touching her. "I could not leave you without an answer, Elara. I have been waiting here, in this place between worlds, waiting for the moment when you were ready." Her heart pounded as she struggled to understand. But why? Why did you leave? Where did you go? He sighed, his gaze drifting to the window where the fog swirled beyond. There are forces in this world we do not understand, forces that can pull us away from what we love, from where we belong. I fell into that place, into the darkness, but I could not stay away forever. I had to find a way to let you know. Elara stepped closer, her hand reaching out to touch him, but she hesitated, afraid he might vanish if she did. "What do I do now?" she asked, her voice trembling. "You keep going, Elara. You live your life. But know that I'm still present in some way. I am always here, beyond the edge of what you can see. And one day, when the time is right, we will meet again." Before she could speak again, the fog crept into the house. Her father's image began to fade into the mist. "No," she cried, but it was too late. He was gone. She stood in the Sky Lantern pub. The bartender wiped the counter as if nothing had happened. Elara sat back in her chair, her heart heavy but full. The drink in front of her was gone, replaced by a single flickering lantern, its light warm and steady. She looked up at the bartender, who nodded. He said in a gentle tone, "Sometimes the sky offers more than just stars." Elara stood, feeling a strange sense of peace wash over her. As she stepped into the city night, the bright moon illuminated her surroundings. She felt a presence beside her. She found the answers she had sought, not of this world, but in the quiet space between the stars. And the Sky Lantern pub remained, waiting for the next soul in need of answers from the other side.